So the biggest news coming out of, or at least one of the biggest news is coming out this week so far, is Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller, of course, is the star of the Flash movie and, of course, played the Flash, Barry Allen, in Justice League, in the Justice League movie and Zack Snyder's Justice League as well. And he made a brief appearance basically in Batman v Superman. So we know he's been put on the map because of that role. And he's had other significant roles as well. And no, I'm not referring to Ezra Miller as they or them. He is a he, straight up, okay? And I say that with all due respect, no offense. He is a he, in my opinion. But anyway, Ezra Miller has had other significant roles. Now, with that said, the question is, what happens if Ezra Miller, who currently is in court right now for everything that he has committed, from breaking into houses, basically, what's the word I'm looking for? Building up young girls, basically, mentoring them, whatever you want to call it, but not in the best way. As well as some other stuff. Even coming out and believing he's the incarnation of our Lord and Savior Jesus. And it's like, really? You starting to think of yourself along with those lines or something like that? So he's basically in court for everything that I just talked about and maybe even more. But what's crazy is what happens to the Flash movie as a result. What happens? Well, obviously, the WBD is high on this movie. It's gotten a lot of positive praise from test screenings. But the question is, what do they do with it, once they have to release it? What do they do? Do they keep it, in theaters for a short run and then put it onto HBO Max so they can just be done with it? Do they have it in theaters for a short run, put it on physical media, then HBO Max and be done with it? What do they do? How do they promote this if their star attraction potentially is behind bars? How do they get out of this is the question. How do they get out of this without having to say, the reason our star isn't here on the red carpet to help promote his movie is mainly because of the fact that he's serving 26 years in prison. How do they do that? How do they get around that is the question. And the obvious answer is WBD, needs to have a very good lawyer team and plea team to get Ezra Miller out of this situation, but not without punishment. In other words, they got to come up with a good plea bargain that's going to allow Ezra Miller to forego prison time, but still serve some kind of punishment that is a reminder to him that this kind of crap that he's been, pulling out lately and everything, grooming, that's what I was looking for, grooming young girls, trying to pretend that he doesn't know what gender he is and stuff like that, breaking into houses to drink alcohol and things like that. He needs to have a punishment that's a reminder that that kind of stuff will not be tolerated anymore as long as he's in the position he's in. And knowing how WBD is, and everybody has said this, John Campea has said it, Rob, who's co-host, has said it, or one of his co-hosts on the John Campea show has said it. Everybody has said it in some extension that they don't believe Ezra is going to face prison time, because WBD will find a way to get him out of it. But I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case, because I think what's going to happen is, they will get him out of the prison situation, but he'll still have to face a punishment, and that punishment, it will be probably more than likely house arrest. That's right, house arrest. And it'll probably be, because he's a celebrity and everything and he still has to work, it'll probably be the kind of house arrest to where, he has to stay at home and he can't go anywhere without somebody escorting him, like an officer or something. He's got to stay at home. He can't leave the property without, somebody being with him, so that he doesn't try to, run off or do something stupid. That's the kind of house arrest I think he's going to be facing. And on top of that, I think not only will that be part of the plea bargain where WBD gets him out of the prison time of 26 years or more, not only will he get a house arrest, an extreme house arrest, if you catch my drift, in exchange for that, but also I think on top of it, he's going to be ordered to go get psychological help. He's going to get ordered to get psychological help for who knows how many years until he gets it through his head that A, he's a he, not a they, and 2, this kind of crap will no longer be tolerated as long as he's, as I said, in the position he's in. Basically, I think what's going to, again, my opinion, but I believe and think that the judge will basically say, okay, I agree to the plea bargain to not let him rot in prison for 26 years, but he still has to face a punishment, and that punishment is house arrest, to where even if he leaves, he's got to have somebody watching him at all times, 24/7, and 2, he's got to get psychological therapy for who knows how many years until he gets his brain straight again, he gets his mind straight again, and he hopefully at the end of all of it, he realizes that he cannot pull this kind of crap anymore, because this is not becoming of someone that has potentially a bright future in Hollywood and shouldn't, have to, throw it away, if you kind of get what I'm saying. So my opinion, guys, is I think Ezra Miller will get punished. He will be found guilty, but knowing how Warner Brothers Discovery, wants to make sure that they have the star present for the premieres, at least, of the Flash movie, they're going to have a plea bargain with, on the ready, hopefully, in their mindset, hopefully they'll have a plea bargain on the ready that will allow them to try to get Ezra out of this. But I think and believe that in exchange for that plea bargain to get him out of the prison portion, he's still going to have to face some kind of major punishment. And that major punishment will be, without a shadow of a doubt, house arrest, but a very unique and extreme version of house arrest, where, again, if he's not doing anything, he has to stay home no matter what. And if he decides to go out or he has to go somewhere, basically, he has to have somebody with him, like an officer or somebody assigned, to make sure he doesn't try to run off or, escape or do something. As well as on top of that, I think he's also going to need, and I believe they have these as well for house arrest, he's going to have a tracer on him. And that tracer will basically allow them to keep an eye on him, even if he is with somebody, just in case, the person that's supposed to watch him maybe gets distracted and he tries to find a way, and he sees that, I should say, as an opportunity to take off. The tracer will be able to allow them to locate him if needed. So hopefully that's not going to be the case, and the guy or the gal, but mostly the guy that gets assigned to watch over him, or the people that get assigned to watch over him, are able to do their job without an incident. But yeah, I believe, knowing how Warner Brothers Discovery might be working, right now, when it comes to being pleasantly surprised and happy, with the Flash movie and its screen testing recently, I believe, again, my opinion, that Ezra Miller will face punishment. He will be found guilty, but it'll be not jail time he serves, but a house arrest for who knows how many years, with the addition that not only will he have to have somebody escort him when he's out and about, like at premieres, filming a movie or whatever, or a show, whatever, he's also going to probably be told to attend 5 years or more of therapy, psychological therapy, to get his mind straight. So I'm not saying he ain't going to be found guilty. I'm not saying he's not going to face any punishment. I believe he is. It's just not going to be the prison time, because WBD, values the Flash movie and money over justice, if you will. And because they do, they'll find a way to get him out of this situation, but it won't be without an agreement of, okay, you could take him home, you can take him away if you could, well, not take him away, but you could take him home, but he's got to stay home and he's got to be under watch 24/7 by a group of people, and on top of that, he has to attend psychological therapy to get his mind and facilities straightened out. So that's just my opinion. Now, could I be wrong, and could he face jail time? Absolutely. There's no doubt. Could I be wrong, and all of us be wrong, and he could end up being, not found guilty? That might be something that happens too. Knowing how the judicial system, easy for me to say, the judicial system works around here in this country and in the state, knowing how it works sometimes, his lawyer may convince the judge to say, hey, mentally he's incompetent to even stand trial because he doesn't know who the hell he is. Excuse my language, God. But we'll see. Knowing how the system works, the justice system works, that might be what happens. And that's going to get a lot of people talking like, wait a minute, if he's incompetent and doesn't know of not knowing who he is, then how the heck was he able to do all this? See, that will get under people's skin if that occurs. But more than likely, knowing how things are playing out right now, looking at everything people are talking about when it comes to Warner Bros. Discovery, being pleased with what they're getting with the Flash movie from test screenings and all that, I truly feel and believe Ezra Miller will be found guilty. He will face punishment, but it won't be the way people are saying it could potentially lead towards. Instead, it's going to be some kind of house arrest that he's going to have to deal with. He's going to have to deal with some kind of house arrest for who knows how many years. Even when he goes out and about, he's going to, as part of that house arrest, he's going to have somebody watching him constantly, even when he's out and about. But also, I think on top of it, he's going to face years of psychological therapy until everything is straightened out mentally in his mind. But what do you guys think? Do you think he will get 26 years in prison? Or do you think WBD will do what they can to get some kind of plea bargain, worked out to where an agreement will be made that yes, he will be found guilty, but instead of jail time, it'll be house arrest to the point that even when he's out and about, probably working, filming a movie and all that, he has to have somebody watching him constantly 24/7. And on top of that, do you think that will also include the judge saying you need to have 5 years or multiple years of psychological therapy to get your mind straight? What do you think? Let me know down below in the comment section, as well as in the live chat. Don't forget to like the video. Super chat, super stickers are open in the live chat. And super thanks afterwards as well. You can also find me at Venmo at Brian-Warmer-2 and at Cash App at BWRoses98. Patreon.com at BWRoses, the $1, $3 tier. Also, you can find me at my Teespring store for merchandise you can't get anywhere else. As well as you can find me at BW Roses Discussions, audio podcast locations, except for Pandora. And check me out at VENMO at BW Roses. Also at DeviantArt.com, so that's BVW1979. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are. How do you feel about this whole situation? What do you think is going to be the end result? Do you think Ezra Miller is going to face 26 years or more in prison? Or do you think WBD will have some kind of plea bargain in place so that, yes, he will be found guilty, he will face some punishment, or some kind of punishment, and that punishment will be multiple years of house arrest, even extending to be escorted by people when he's going out and about to shop, work and all that. Do you think that will be the punishment, along with maybe multiple years of psychological therapy? What are your thoughts? Let me know down below in the comments and in the live chat during the premiere. Like the video. And until then, guys, I will talk to y'all later.